So I have two questions. Tony Sims, can he save Daniel Dubois? That's question one. And the problem, what is the problem with Daniel Dubois' return? That's question two. Now, I would argue, and I think a lot of people would concur with this, that Daniel Dubois, he needs help, or maybe he needs help. But not help with technique like throwing a jab or throwing a straight right. He needs help psychologically. He needs help with his confidence. Maybe we all need help in this department. But I feel like Daniel Dubois, this is an essential component that he needs help with. Now, managing the fighter relationship, I think, is difficult or more difficult in the Daniel Dubois context, because not only are you managing the relationship with him, you're also managing the relationship with the father, because the father has such a close relationship with his son, which is understandable. Any loving father would want to guide their son. That's not a bad thing. That's a great thing. And they clearly have a close relationship. Now, when we talk about Tony Sims in today's context, Tony Sims, I think, has done a great job with Conor Benn. In the Eubank fights, in the Eubank Junior fights, he did a great job. In the first fight, I think Conor Benn performed well. And I think the second fight, even though that there's a caveat there with regards to Eubank Junior, still Conor Benn had gained experience and he implemented a good strategy. And we have to give Conor Benn credit, and we also have to give Tony Sims credit. So, and on top of that, Tony Sims has done a good rebuilding job with Craig Richards, also known as Spider. Craig Richards recently had a win over Dan Aziz, which puts him back at the top of the British light heavyweight ecosystem. And I'm really intrigued to see what happens with Craig Richards, because I believe he has a lot of talent. So in a sense, when we talk about Tony Sims, he has harvested a great boxing environment where it comes to atmosphere, fighters' energy, etc. And Daniel Dubois, he can benefit from this. And it's so important that he soaks this in. And of course, Tony Sims, being a teacher, a trainer, will have a philosophy. He'll have a boxing style. But like I said before, this is not just about teaching a style. It's more about building up someone psychologically. And part of that is having effective communication, not just having communication, but effective communication. Think of this. A salesperson needs to be taught how to sell. A boxer needs to be taught how to box. That sounds obvious. That seems logical. But Daniel Dubois doesn't need to be taught how to box. I mean, he's a former world champion. He needs to rebuild his confidence. He needs to build him up psychologically. So it's not a simple equation. Brendan Ingle understood the importance of this, by the way. He understood the importance of building up fighters in terms of building their confidence, raising them up. This is what Robert Greene calls the Pygmalion effect. So that environment, if a boxing environment can raise you up psychologically, that is essential. That's an essential ingredient. Now, let's be honest. Daniel Dubois is a great talent. He could become champion again. Definitely. Strong jab. He's got really good power. He can knock you out. He has got good underrated power. He's got a strong jab. He's got good power. He's got underrated counter-punching abilities. He's got good footwork. He also has good punch resistance, and now he has championship experience. He has experience at the championship level. And against Anthony Joshua, he looked fantastic. He actually looked like the future against Anthony Joshua. Now, I was watching an interview with Daniel Dubois with iFilm London, and I was looking for things in this interview because this was a recent interview. And what I was looking for was, is he confident? Is he awkward? Is there any changes in his demeanor? And in the interview, he was in the actual gym, and I felt like he looked comfortable. He looked very comfortable, and he was saying all the right things. He was saying that he's open to new ideas, which is important when you're getting with a new trainer, because the likelihood is that they're going to input new ideas. And he states that he feels like he's learning. And how good is a boxing gym if you're not learning? And he says that the environment is good. It's a good fighting environment. And that's good. And he has familiarity with it. And he also talks about his ambition to get the title back and to fight anyone. They posed the question about would he fight Fabio Wardley, and he categorically said yes. There was no fear there. There was no hesitation, if my recollection serves me correct. And he looked happy and he looked confident. And he made this reference point, and I think it's important. And he was talking about leaving the past in the past. And sometimes our past can create demons that can negatively affect our future. And it seems like this philosophy of leaving the past in the past, if he follows that, that will be beneficial. He also talked about taking things more seriously, and whatever we pursue in life, whether it's a career in art, acting, YouTube, boxing, or any elite sport, it's always important to take it seriously. And he states that he is taking it seriously. And he's saying all the right things. So to me, I came away from that interview feeling more confident about Daniel Dubois' future. Now, of course, there are adjustments that they're going to have to deal with the development with Daniel Dubois. I think the first thing is dealing with the psychology. It looks like they're already working on that. But also he needs to be able to deal with the jab. So in the Joy Joyce fight, he really struggled with the jab. So he needs to be dealing with that, or he needs to be able to deal with that. He also needs to, even though he's a good counterpuncher, when he went up against an elite counterpuncher, i.e. Usyk, he struggled. So it's about continuously developing his counterpunching ability. And he also needs to learn, he can solve puzzles at the British level, even at the championship level, but he needs to learn to solve puzzles at the elite level. And of course, I'm using puzzles in a figurative way. And I feel like, what is the ambition, or what is the end goal for Daniel Dubois? Realistically, where can he go? And I think that he can be a massive part of the boxing ecosystem. He can be a massive part of the British heavyweight ecosystem, but the boxing ecosystem in general. He's an exciting fighter. There's potentials for great rivalries. And remember, he has a fan favorite style. He's not a boxer that just beats you on the jab and is just Mr. Technical. He can knock you out. And I think it's good as well, because as the interview progressed, it became transparent in this interview that he has a rapport with Tony Sims. He's known him since 18, and I didn't know that. So he's got this good rapport. He's learning new things. He's developing his confidence. And that's a great addition. And of course, his team has changed. And the obvious change is the trainer. And then there's Sam Jones as well. I believe that's the name of his promoter. So there's these new additions to his team. Again, there's some important factors here. Managing this psychologically effectively, or managing Daniel Dubois' psychology effectively, which is a byproduct of having great communication. Teaching him how to deal with puzzles on the elite level. Building his confidence. And I feel that managing that relationship between him and his father, you don't want to isolate the father, because I think the father is an important part of Daniel Dubois' identity. I think he looks to his father for strength. So it's important to maintain that, but at the same time, manage the relationship where it doesn't interfere with Tony Sims' guidance. And I think there's massive potential for Daniel Dubois.